Hello everyone and welcome to another South Asian Artists in Conversation with South Asian Artists. And today we have Aaron AK and we're going to be discussing music and songwriting. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, Aaron, and just tell them what kind of things you do and the kind of industry that you work in as well.
Definitely, yeah, thank you. So first of all, thank you for having me on. It's been obviously a long overdue. We finally got there. So I go by the name of Aaron. My music name is Aaron AK. Originally from London, I'm now living in Birmingham. So I've been doing music for about as long as I've known, since high school. So I'm 28 now. Years to be fair, 10 plus years easily. So I'm a rapper, singer, songwriter. So I do a bit of everything. To be fair, I rap, I sing, I write all my own vocals myself. Hip hop, rap, grime, art, sometimes a bit of R&B. Recently, I've been doing a bit of garage, dubstep, house. So whatever there's a vibe that I can actually, connect with, I'll make a song to it as long as I can feel there's something that can be worked with. I've been making music for a while now, and I thought over the last, especially lockdown as we were speaking, before we went live on this, I think lockdown helped massively because it kind of gave me an intention to sit down and focus on my music instead of just doing it here and there and letting it pass me by kind of thing. I actually had time to sit down and think, let's take it a bit serious, and here we are today. So yeah.
Amazing. I really like that you said you sort of, because I feel like some artists focus on like certain genres, which is fair enough, but it's really nice you go with kind of whatever you vibe with, so you're not closing yourself off to like other music you can discover.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. I think you need to be, what's the word? Not like a one-trick pony. And I've always said that to myself. It's not even for anyone else. I have to be different. I don't want to be someone that just does one genre, and then people say, oh, is that all you do? Or the song sounds the same as the last one, and I hate that because I think nowadays as well, when you hear music, you hear a lot of songs that are similar to each other, and artists are similar to other artists, where there's only certain individuals that are very unique in the music industry, and that's what I want to be. So that's what I'm trying to strive for.
And yes, you've got to make yourself sort of stand out, because then you can just get, like you said, lost in the crowd, and you'll just get put in a group with these people all sound the same. So it's really great that you like to find your kind of unique thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll just go on to the first question. So what, I think you mentioned it a little bit, but what kind of actually inspired your music, your rap and your songwriting?
As cliche as this sounds, what inspires my music in general is it's life circumstances and certain events in my life. So I know like that I can reel off a list of artists that I listen to, but then I wouldn't say that they were my inspiration. I don't listen to an artist and think, oh my god, I want to be like that, or I want to be. So my music is based off what I've been through, what I'm going through, what I'm about to go through. I can reel off an example like in the past where I've broken up with a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, and then I'm in the studio a week later doing a song about it. So that's how I base my music off it. It's emotions that I'm going through at that time. But yeah, I'd say artists. I can give you like 3 artists straight away off the top of my head that I've listened to from as a kid, and I still do today. And they're like I wouldn't say inspirations, but I'd say artists that I just I love everything about them. That I feel like there's nobody like them in the scene, and their longevity in in the music industry is why certain people want to be like that kind of thing. So one is like Eminem.
Yeah,
definitely like is a legend. And
yeah, I love his music.
Exactly, and he does everything as well. He does rap. He can sing a bit, and he's just been doing it for so long, and he's still one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in my eyes. 2, I'd say like Chris Brown. For me, best artist right now that has ever laced any song in the booth, because he does everything as well. Rap, sings, dance. He can do arts. He can perform.
Yeah.
He just gets better and better and better as each year goes on. And I can say like the Script, Coldplay. I listen to a lot of music, so it's not just rap or hip hop. I listen to like pop, bit of anything. So there's anything I feel like I can connect with, and if I like the sound of it, and that's what it is. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you said like Coldplay as well, because I love their music, and I feel
Okay.
especially like Eminem as well. The majority of his songs are about his personal experiences, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
artists do write about their personal experiences. But I think with Eminem, you can tell like it's in so much detail, and he's sort of not afraid to open sort of every part of his life up. Whereas I think a lot of artists kind of hide little parts, which is fair enough. But he's
Yeah.
very, very open about his kind of music.
No, I think if you can be as open as possible, I think people appreciate that and respect that. You kind of then develop some sort of a close bond with like your fans and supporters because they can be like, oh, I was there from when he was going through that particular
Mm,
moment of life, and now look at him, 5, 6, 7 years later, he's doing
yeah,
this. You know what I mean? So it kind of builds that kind of chemistry, which I
yeah,
think is needed instead of just dropping random singles and albums that make no sense to anyone or people can't actually connect with.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so definitely.
And yeah, especially when I think you put yourself out there, you write about your own experiences. It also, so many people can relate to that who have gone through a similar thing, and it's like music's so powerful in that sense for connecting
Yeah, yeah,
people, not just because people share the same taste, but also the same experiences as well.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's but that's like my inspiration is definitely like just life itself, like what I'm going through and stuff. That's definitely something that inspires me to write my music. I've got certain friends and I know certain artists that will sit in in the studio and every day, and that's not me. I can't do that personally because I feel like I need to be in the right headspace. I can sit here and force myself to write a song, but then it's not going to be till its fullest potential, if that makes sense. Whereas I can leave it a week, and if I'm feeling it and I'm in the right zone, because I'm going through a certain emotion next week or in a few days' time, and then I start writing that song, it comes out 10 times better than it should, or
Mhm.
because I'm actually connected with it and I'm fully focused on it, putting my time and energy into it instead of just forcing myself to write a song for the sake of it. So yeah, that's how I make my music anyway. I have to be in the right headspace for it. I don't just do it randomly here and there, like.
Yeah, it probably where it makes sense. I mean, some artists probably can do that, but it's so much more authentic if you just take the time and process all the thoughts, and then
Yeah,
I think you can remember, recall more as well if you kind of take that time.
yeah, 100%. That's what I agree with anyway. I feel like you shouldn't rush anything. You know what I mean? Because
Mm.
great things they can't be rushed. You have to take time with it. So that's my
Yeah,
motto.
amazing. Um, and what are some things that you've learned whilst creating music, whether that's like about yourself or just about the music industry and genre itself?
I'd say definitely networking. That's one of the main things. Like I never ever used to network. I used to just stick to myself. Music was just like me and my studio person, go and record there, put it out. But then without connecting with the right people, you will never, you're not connecting the dots. So for instance, a perfect example is today I'm speaking to you. I wouldn't have never have, thought in a million years to go on a blog or a podcast and
Mm.
because that would have been my first thought. But now it's like there's different ways of connecting with people and it helps, especially lockdown. Like I said, I keep referring back to it. Lockdown was, it helped a lot of people in a way. It was like a blessing in disguise for a lot of creatives because there's not much you can do once you're confined in in a house.
Mm.
But social media is so big nowadays. Everyone's on it, 24/7. You have to, if you a little message to someone, it could open all the doors for you. You know, like so, build your catalog of people. Speak to people. Could be radio stations, other artists, bloggers, you know, photography people, anything. Just build it up as much as possible and speak, because you can't. No one's gonna know your art unless you speak with them and share your art with them. So
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I completely agree. I think lockdown gave so many people time to just kind of sit down and make the connections. Because as we were saying, we've been both so busy recently. Whereas lockdown, there was like hardly anything to do, and I think people were like use that time to make connections. And I think obviously it's an awful thing that happened, but I think if it wasn't for lockdown, people would not have connected and found
but
other creatives and like-minded people as much.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, I agree with. I was doing Instagram lives like once a week,
I mean, that was
Friday.
during lockdown. Obviously, it would be.
Yeah, yeah, just going on live and just freestyling, whatever I've written, just spitting some bars and lyrics, and whoever wants to lock in and enjoy what I'm doing. And then through there, I was just speaking to random people, and like I was on Instagram live with Lady Leisha. She was doing like certain people were doing like challenges and like competitions and stuff. So
Oh,
So like I went on to her live because she was like sharing it out, and she was like, come on, people, jump on and show us some of your talent. So I
Okay.
go through there. I went on to Roach Killer's live. He went on Instagram live, same kind of thing. I connected with him on there, speaking to him, and I done my thing, and he's loving it. And then he followed me afterwards, and little things like that. Like
Yeah.
that would never happen unless you put yourself out there. So yeah, that's definitely a blessing in disguise.
And I think, yeah, so many people are sometimes, especially if it's people you don't really know, people are
Yeah,
just afraid to sort of send that message or put yourself out there because it's like, oh, I don't know you. But I think because of social media, and again, lockdown, it's allowed people not to be as afraid because it's like, oh, wait, we're
yeah,
creative. We can actually find opportunities for each other. And then
yeah.
you can become like the best of friends. And it's just so mad how powerful it can be if people take that leap, though. But it can be hard, but you've
It
just
is
got,
confidence, bro. Like you have to have
it is.
confidence. I didn't have no confidence like this at all a few years ago.
Mm,
Like I've always been someone that can speak to people and bubbly, but confidence of putting myself out there because I've always used to doubt myself. Oh, what about if so and so is going to think this and certain people are going to say that, and but you have to kind of have the attitude of kind of like a hard thick skin, especially in this industry. People might judge you, might say anything, but at the end of the day, if you love what you're doing, who cares? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that's kind of mentality you have to have, and I think it comes with just growing up as well. As you grow up, you learn that about life and stuff and people, and could be even friends and family. Might not agree with what you're doing,
Yeah.
but in the you like what you're doing and you enjoy it and you can see yourself going somewhere in it, then why not pursue it?
Yeah, exactly. Don't care what other people are doing or thinking. And
Yeah.
yeah, especially sort of social media showing the highlights. You never, you're judging people for what you're seeing, like 15 seconds of their life. So it's just like, just show whatever you feel like you want to show as well.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Um, and what are some things that, being a rapper, singer, and songwriter has allowed you to do that
Um,
that you wouldn't have been able to do like prior?
I'd say put myself from just being like creative. I've always been creative in a sense where I make music and stuff, but ability to share it with people and connect with people that I wouldn't have connected with before. So artists, radios. I've got so many I've got like a list of radio stations that I always send out my music to when I've got a new single out. That would have never have happened if I didn't connect with them and if
Yeah.
I didn't make. So I've met a few great people as well for music. That I've actually become friends with and I'm quite close with just generally. So I think being able to share my stuff with people and not just keeping it to myself and the people around me, giving it to for the world to see basically. And I feel like that's social media is such a massive platform for that. And I think we need to utilize it as much as possible. But I think just meeting people, yeah, definitely just connecting to people that I've never would have thought of
Yeah.
speaking to, performing. Definitely wouldn't have been ever in my life thought about performing, but started to perform over the last like 2 to 3 months, and I'm loving it. Like little things are just taking off slowly, but that's because I'm doing music and I'm putting my time into it. Whereas before, I do that before.
Yeah.
So it's it is proof that sometimes if you put time and commitment into something, you'll always get something out of it.
Yeah. Even if it can take like so many years, it'll be so much more
Yeah,
work than like if it's rushed and it's like, oh, you could still do more with it. And
yeah.
have you managed to sort of travel and like tour around much, when you've like performed, or is it generally the same kind
Um,
of
yeah.
venues?
I've done a few cities, like 2 or 3 cities. Like I'm still pretty new to it, to be fair, like the performing side of things. So I've done one in Leicester the other week. Actually, it was for radio.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so they had like I think it was on the Jubilee weekend.
Mm.
Michael D, like he's yeah man, he's one of my mates, to be fair. Like he hit me up. He's another artist as well from Leicester. He hit me up and said he basically organised the whole event and told me to come down and perform. And from that event, when I went down there, like I met a lot of other artists whilst I was there as well. So I connected with all of them, followed them on Instagram, etc.
So
And
even
then
just through performing, you've met so many like
yeah,
artists. Oh, amazing.
exactly. And there was people that I spoke to like during lockdown, and people like a radio presenter, for instance, was there that um, I think it's Sabras Radio. I don't know if you heard of him.
Sunrise.
So his name's Akshay Patel. So
Oh,
he he like always since as soon as like lockdown came and I started sending them my music, he's always been supporting me. So we've always been like speaking to each other here and there. And obviously when I went to Leicester and performed, he was there. That's the first time I seen him. So he came over and gave me a big hug. He's like, "Oh, it's amazing to see you doing so well, this and that." Because he was like one of the first people that's played like my songs on air and stuff. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was a really good feeling, man. Because it was just like it was weird because like 2 years lockdown talking over like Instagram, and I'm here performing and he's in the crowd. So I was like, it's a bit weird. It's a mad feeling.
I know, sort of. I think that's one of the weird things because it's sort of like, when else have you sort of spoken to someone online, not seen them for 2 years, and then you finally meet, and it's like, oh my god, you're a real person, as
Yeah,
opposed
yeah,
to someone like a face that you've been speaking to online. So it must have been so nice after 2 years to actually meet in person.
yeah. He's a proper lovely guy as well, and like
Mhm.
he just seemed really happy, and I just because how happy he was, it was just making me happy.
Yeah. Oh,
Laughing and that, it was good,
was
mate.
and was that, do you say it's Subrus
Yeah,
Radio? Because I know there is one in Leicester.
I think it is the Leicester one. Yeah, he's
Okay, yeah.
definitely his name's Akshay Patel. But yeah, he always like he's a presenter there, but he's always been playing my
Mm.
music all the time. Like he never says no to me. So every time I
Oh.
say him a song, he tag me in it and stuff. So
You should just
yeah.
rename it to RNAK. Like, you should just tell him, do you know what? I'm paying my.
The thing is, he spotted me. I didn't even spot him. Like he in me. And then that dealer was saying to me, "Oh look, this is blah blah blah," and I looked at him. I was like, "No way!" It's like I seen a ghost. But it was good. It was like a good kind of like vibe that he was giving off, and yeah, man. Like from there, just little things like that. Like I've met a lot of people through performing. A few weeks before that, I was in Digbeth in Birmingham,
Mhm.
um, for Amplifier Sounds, and it was I had all my friends and family come, and there's other artists there as well. It was like we went out afterwards. It's like a massive evening, and it was just
Oh.
the feeling of performing, like coming off the stage, is
Mhm.
the adrenaline is a different kind of feel.
Yeah.
So I just want to like perform more if I can. So I'm just I'm on the lookout now.
Where would be like your dream place to perform? Whether that's like in the UK, abroad, like a specific festival, like that. What would be your dream?
Don't get me wrong, like I can reel off a list of it. Like don't give it like Glastonbury, for instance. If I
Yeah.
could ever perform Glastonbury or Greenfields or somewhere like that, I'd absolutely love it. But small steps, you know what I mean? I can't. I can dream, but
You can manifest.
that's it. So that'll be like that'll be like the pinnacle there. If I can get to that on the stage, I'd be happy, 100%.
You never know. That'll be incredible to do that.
Fingers fingers
Because
crossed.
do you know if the daytime is?
Um,
They
no,
sort of do like Asian.
heard of him actually. I've heard of him. Yeah.
They've got like a platform on Instagram and a website, but they do sort of like Asian underground music events,
Yeah.
and it's sort of very into sort of the South Asian culture. And I think a couple of the guys from there, I think they were like performing as DJ, so they had like a DJ set,
Okay.
and it was just quite really inspiring to see South Asians performing in Glastonbury. So I was like, oh, that's so amazing. So it's
It's
just.
been a bit popular now as well. Like you can see a lot
Mhm.
of South Asians putting themselves out there a bit more.
Mhm,
Like
yeah.
DJs now, female DJs, which
Yeah.
today. Presenters, you get female presenters now, which there weren't many of back in the day either. So it's slowly coming up, and I think if
Mhm.
people keep pursuing what they enjoy, possibilities endless, man. It's going good to be fair for everyone at the moment, which is it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you've noticed that there's more female presenters as well. Because I guess like if you're not really seeing people that look like you and that are female, you're like, there's no space. But then as more do it, it just paves the way for even more to be like, do you know what, they can do it. I can slowly get there. So
Exactly, you're right.
definitely. And what are, oh no, I'll just ask that. What are some of like your goals? I know we kind of spoken about like dream place to perform, but like what are some of your personal goals within the music industry?
For me, it's definitely performing more. Like I want to perform as much as possible. If I could do like a UK tour or something, that'd be amazing.
Mm.
That'll probably take a year or two. Even if it was just like 5 cities, like I don't have to do too many cities or four cities or main cities: Manchester, Birmingham, London, and somewhere else.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Um, Also, just put myself out there a bit more in regards to collaboration. So this year, I've done quite a few collabs as it is for this year. So I feel like if you put, if you do a collaboration with a certain artist, you're also tapping into their fan base and their supporters as well.
Yeah.
So you can, perform and definitely collaborate with more artists and females, definitely, because I mean, I think I'm in the process of working with one female. It's still kind of being worked on, but definitely, perform and, more songs with females. Maybe like a girl on the hook or something, like a vocalist. That'd be good. But yeah, just push myself as much as possible. Try to get my streams up on my Spotify, because when I first started, people like it. I don't look at it like, if you get 1,000 streams, 2,000 streams, 3,000 streams, it's like it's all right. But then you want to, like you said, manifest, push yourself. When you get 10,000. So last year, I think for the end of the year, because Spotify do this thing where at the end of the year they send out this thing to do all the artists, where they tell you how many streams you get for the year, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, because is that when they do the roundup of like your 5 top?
Yeah, and it
They
tells you like what top countries and cities
Oh.
that play, what's your top song and blah blah blah. So I think last year, like, I only had 8,000 streams for the whole year, but that was obviously like during lockdown, and that was my first year of Spotify as well. Like, I didn't have Spotify before that. So like this year, I want to like double that, triple that. I want it to be at the end of the year, to see when I get that email from Spotify, it says, "Oh, you've had 30K streams for the year or something." Or
yeah,
more, but just build yourself up. Try to better yourself from the year before. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you can sort of learn, I guess, also what works for you and what doesn't in terms of music, and
Exactly. Yeah.
you start again to find that individuality. And I really like what you said about the collabs, in the sense that their fan base, they discover you, and then your fan base discover the other artists, and again, that's another way for you to grow as artists together, because then they're sort of getting a different taste, and then that can lead to sort of more streams and stuff, which I'm sure you'll get anyways. And yeah, I listened to some your music. It's honestly amazing. Like, I really, and again, you could tell that it was about your life and stuff that you've gone through. And I think it was on YouTube, some of the collabs, and I really love hearing collabs, because it's just like, I like hearing sort of singular artists, but then when you've got 2 different voices, different styles of music, masterpiece. So.
Oh no, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've had a few this year. To be fair, I've been working with a producer, and his name's Cobra, so big him up, to be fair, because we're working really close at the moment, and there's a lot more to come from like me and him. He's been sorting out so many collaborations for me, and enough respect, to be fair, because he hit up. He's part of a label basically, and he had a song with Mike Righteous, so that's how the song with me and Mike Righteous come about, was through him.
Okay.
And then that went out, and then that's what my highest stream song like ever. That got like 25K in one song, and I didn't even have that like last, like I was saying to you, on my whole Spotify from last year. On one song's done like 25K, so like that's because I've done a song with an artist who's big already. Like Mike Righteous is really big. He's been on all kinds of stations, BBC One, Westwood, everywhere. Like he's a big artist. He's an established artist. But yeah, like I want to work with as many artists as possible, and that's the aim anyway. I've got a few more to come out for the next few months. I've got a big one coming out. I don't know when, maybe a month or so. It's with a big rapper from like down south, so that's going to be a good one as well. Yeah, a lot going on. I'm just trying to keep on top of it all. That's why I'm in here today in my little office space. I need to write a list and just organise myself a little bit, because it's so easy to like leave it for a week, and I'll do it next week. And then before you know it, it's just all on top of you.
Yeah, and then you kind of procrastinate. You're like, oh, it's fine, and then something else will come up, and then something else. So it's good to
like, where do I go? Where do I start? So I need to list it all down today. That's my plan.
Sometimes it also feels good, because then you kind of feel more accomplishing. Like, oh my god, I've collabed with these people, and you're kind of clear in your mind who you want to do collabs with and stuff. Yeah. So I think writing stuff down really actually does help you get in that headspace as well. I'm excited to hear who you're going to be collabing with.
I've got he's kind of working on it at the moment. I think she's an American female artist. But I think he's kind of working at the moment, but like I'm just waiting for like the go ahead, because we're still waiting on like a genre. I think she's gonna be like picking a genre, because she's quite. So we said like we'll let her have kind of like the main, hit track. I'll just do on the track, I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Do you have like what are some of your dream artists to collaborate with?
Then like Chris Brown to me, like I always say, is the best artist ever because he's
Mm.
come out like the other day, and I just can't stop playing it. Like he's
Yeah.
but Chris Brown definitely. Eminem, um, NF. There's a rapper called NF in like America, I think.
Okay.
He's really like he's kind of like he's mainstream, but he's kind of like underground at the same time. He's very like conscious rap and stuff like that about his life, and yeah, that's the post up there. That's him up there.
Yeah, I see
Got
that.
my little studio. So yeah, man, he's definitely one person as well. If it's from the UK, I'd say Gets is one of my favourite artists from the UK. Chip, I've listened to
Oh,
day one. Chip's pretty cool. Who else? I like Georgia Smith, man, because she's got a unique voice. I like her voice, to be fair.
yeah.
So, and I've heard her like do a song with JK and stuff, and it works. The kind of rap in her voice as well on the hooks. So, yeah, just any artists really. As long as I can feel like they're on the same page as me and they're on a vibe and they want to push themselves as well. I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to do a song with someone that's not too fussed about their art, if that makes sense, and
Yeah.
that they're kind of half-hearted about what they're doing. Like that's not me. I don't want to be making songs with anyone that doesn't feel like they can elevate themselves, if that makes sense.
And
So
that will show, and I think you need, especially with collaborations, you need to be able to complement each other's music and
yeah,
take, but otherwise it just sounds completely off.
and
Um,
as it sounds, like you have to work with artists as well, where they're going to look at it from a perspective as what's it going to benefit for them, and then you have to look at it the same way as what's it going to benefit for me. Like, is it going to get me more streams? Am I going to
yeah,
get blah 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 X Y Z from it? You can't go backwards. You have to always look to go one step ahead all the time. So yeah,
yeah,
that's why when I look for artists now, that's why I'm quite picky. I don't just work with anyone and everyone. So yeah, it's a long process as well. It's not as
yeah.
simple as we'll work and then
Just okay, tomorrow we'll do a release date. It takes
yeah.
takes
If you're living in different cities as well,
yeah,
the different ways of doing it. You can meet them up on a weekend and go to the same studio, book a studio time. But obviously, the easier way is they can record their bit, you record your bit, send it to the engineer, he mixes it all down. So
yeah.
there's many ways. But yeah, there's a lot to come. And collaborations is definitely something I'm working on this year. But I was thinking at the moment, I'm still in two minds of possibly an album or something at the end of the year, or maybe beginning of like next year, like January or something, December, January. So once I've got these collabs out the way, that's my next step is going to be like working on me.
Okay, cool. Something to
So
think. Yeah, that
yeah,
can be one of your goals in it if that's what you want to do, sort of end of the year or beginning. And I
just
know no, sorry.
time's going too fast. It's already July.
I can't believe, oh my god, just time just baffles me because I was like, okay, we're in summer, but I'm like, how is it end of June? It just feels like it's just begun.
Well, I was saying to myself like the other month, I might put an album together at the end of the year, but then I'm looking at the calendar, it's like the end of the year already.
Oh no, you never know though. You
I
might be
know.
you might be finished in time, so it can be
I'll,
like,
I'll have to just knuckle
hey,
down, put my head down like for 3 weeks, for a month, go to the studio like every other day and just knock it all out.
yeah.
That's the plan.
Okay, final question before we move on to the fire round. I always like to sort of do a little bit of talk about kind of representation, and I know we mentioned it a little bit, but
Yeah.
kind of like specifically in the music industry, do you feel like there's anything lacking in terms of South Asians in the music industry, and what would you like to see more of?
I'd say in regards to that, maybe a bit more unity, as in artists working together. I don't see many South Asians working together unless they're like the big established artists
Yeah.
that have been in the scene for years. Especially for the newcomers and up and coming people. I don't see many support, as in they don't share their stuff and they don't share their stuff. But if everyone comes together,
Yeah.
helps both parties. That's what people need to look at. I think it's so easy for artists to be like, oh, if it's not doing anything for me, I'm not going to share it. Or there's a lot of selfishness, you know what I mean? And I feel
Yeah.
like if people work together,
Yeah.
great things can happen. But it's just that pride and ego, I think, with some artists, some people, individuals in themselves.
And I think I don't know why people have that mindset, because it's sort of like, if like you not sharing anything isn't taking anything away from yourself, because it's kind of like people come with the mindset of, you know, they think they've got everything, but you're literally helping yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
By, you know, I'll share this for you. Again, it's paving the way for us, but you never know what could come out of it for you in terms of more collabs,
Exactly.
and grows more as well. More, you know, and it's just like, I don't know why people have the mindset thinking it's gonna. I think we have become a lot more supportive of each other, but I think there is still a very competitive. I think it's a competitiveness.
Yeah, definitely. I want to be better than X, Y, Z, and
Yeah.
oh, I want that person to be better than me or overtake me, and it's like that mindset. I get it because that's itself. Like you have to have that kind of mindset at times, but I guess it's like who you surround yourself with and stuff like that. But definitely, I'd say if people work together a bit more and just a bit more open to each other and stuff, and you know, a lot more could be happening. Definitely.
Yeah. And I'd love to see more, because there are, you know, individual South Asian artists, especially British ones, I see. But again, I don't see that many collaborations, and there's so many people I would love to see collaborate. And I think it would just sort of mix us so much together. So hopefully, like, that is a thing that does happen going forwards, because I think we make good music, so people need people need to hear it.
Like you're right. Like the music that I've heard, especially like recently, like when I've been browsing and stuff on the socials, they've been pretty good, like really good standard music. But if you know, if you're working with certain people, it could just take, like you said, that one song and that's it. You could blow up. Like that's all it takes is that one song, and it's sounds really cliche, but like it is, it's right. Like that one song could mean everything to someone, and if you're not sharing, the right people won't see it. You know what I mean? So.
You've got to help each other. Yeah, no, exactly. People get so famous just off one song, so it, you know, it shows that it can happen, and it can happen. So
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Good to hear you're doing more collabs. So hopefully you can like you can kind of pave the way for more when they start seeing that Aaron's doing more. Then you can.
No, no, never done collabs. Like last year and the year before, it's always just been like my own stuff. So I've worked craft and this and that. But then, you know, my goal was towards like the end of last year. I was thinking for this year, definitely collaborations. Like I want to just work with artists and put myself out there a bit more. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Amazing. But yeah, I'm excited for everyone to hear who you're going to be collaborating with. So stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned. That's it.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to some fire round questions. The first one I've just made sort of music based. What is your throwback song?
Oh, throwback. And this any genre?
Yeah, any genre.
Oh, I've got loads, you know, I've got too many. Like there's
I know, the same.
I'm just trying to artist and just gonna nail down a song.
God, I'm throwing you there. I would be thrown too because there's too many good ones.
Old song we're talking about. Oh.
What do you say? How old? And
Yeah. Does it matter? Does it have to be like pretty old or just
no, like just like whatever you see as a throwback for you. Or what's one you like if you can't think of
Eminem Mockingbird. There you go.
Such a good one.
There you go. That's a tune. I like that
one. Good. Okay, this is a non-music one. What's your favourite fruit?
Probably strawberries, you know.
Oh yeah.
Possibly strawberries, yeah.
Do they have to be sweet or
oranges? Fair.
Oranges, yeah. Do they have to be sweet strawberries, or can you do you like sour strawberries?
Bit of both, yeah. I don't mind as long as it's a juicy strawberry.
If you could live anywhere else other than where you live now, where would it be?
Possibly Canada, because I got family in Canada.
Okay.
When I went there, I just think it's an like amazing place, man. It's just clean. It's just basically everything that we're not over here.
Well, have you been before?
Say that again, sorry.
You say you've been to Canada like before?
Yeah, I've been twice. I went like it's been a good 5-6 years now, I'd say, but it was I went for like a wedding and stuff, but just the houses, everything there's just bigger, better.
Okay.
Food, yeah. It's just nicer as well. Like people are there nicer than UK. So yeah, definitely there.
Good choice. Okay, what would be your go-to karaoke song? Again, any genre.
Oh, this is a tough one. You put me on a spot here. It's gonna have to be like a song, yeah, not like a rap one, like an actual song.
No, any like any genre, so rap or anything you'd like to do karaoke to.
Uh, I'll try like a Chris Brown song. I don't know how it sounds compared to him. That
Don't
any
be
Chris, I'd say like Deuces or something. Yeah, let's try it. But it might sound as good.
Okay, I asked this to everyone. Final one. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, definitely just knuckle down a bit from earlier. Like focus and you know, focus a bit more, put your goals down, work hard, stay disciplined, have the right people around you, never give up, you know what I mean? Because there's been times where I've just given up. Because I actually like stopped music for a bit and then got back into it, and that was me giving up. Where
Yeah.
if I didn't give up, God knows where I might have been, you know what I mean? But I think it's just take, don't take everything too harshly as well. Take everything with a pinch of salt because every day is different and life is too short. So definitely,
Yeah.
that's that's what I'd say to my younger self.
And I think I know you mentioned obviously you stopped for a while, and I wouldn't necessarily call that giving up because obviously you picked it up, and I think as artists, it's we like to work at, or we're kind of forced to work at a fast pace, but I think it's so important to take breaks at the same time. If you're not feeling like it's
Yeah,
working out, it's fine to take that step back and stop doing it, and then that might make you want to work even harder because then you've sort of taken that little breath back and then you can throw yourself into it again. So I think
yeah,
it's important that we take those breaks at
you're right. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, that's what I'd say to my younger self. Like, if I had the same mindset I do now than what I did then everything would be gravy.
Well, it's good you've learnt it now, and it's thank you. I think it's really important that you've shared that with everyone. So I think that's a really, really good thing
No,
to end on. But yeah, again, I'm so glad we finally found the time as creatives to finally have this chat. And I think yeah, it's really nice because every person I speak to brings something completely different. So I think it's really refreshing for people to sort of just hear about different artists' life and kind of how they've got to where they are today. So yeah,
yeah.
thank you so much for coming on today.